The Forza Horizon series has always been one of my favorites. Obviously, I've stated in the past that I believe Forza Horizon 5 is the pinnacle of racing games. Now, Forza Horizon 5, the newest release from Playground Games, has released to early access. Now, while I purchased the game, I actually game share with my brother who actually purchased the early access edition, so I was able to play early and I got a good amount of time to spend with the game, and I thought it'd be a good idea to review the game for everybody since so many people were messaging me on Xbox Live and asked me how the game was. This is going to be a review you don't want to miss as I review Forza Horizon 5. I'm the Crapgamer, and of course this is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some of the cool changes around here, but hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me and my silly YouTube channel. Now, I want to be clear, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to expect a negative review based on the fact that I personally thought that the game looked slightly downgraded from what we were originally shown. I stand by that, but I also look at the difference between performance mode and the other mode, okay? It's a clear difference when you're playing this game, and the one thing that I want to say is, right off the bat, I enjoy this game much, much more than I enjoyed Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4 I thought is a good game. There's no doubt about it. It's a 92 rated Metacritic game. But I have to say, in terms of the game being as good as the other games, personally to me, I would have to say no. And one of the main reasons for that was it just felt a little bit, you know, like DLC to the third game, and I didn't think it was as well done, and I also thought that it was maybe a little bit too much emphasis on some of the weather aspects and things like that, and maybe a little bit too much with the dailies and weeklies and games as a service aspect. Now this one, I actually like the setting much more. In Mexico, I feel like there's a lot of different varying aspects, and it's really just a well put together game. Graphically, I want to say this game is absolutely beautiful. I'm playing it on an Xbox Series X, and it plays phenomenally. And I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy the performance aspect of this. Now, I have to say right away that there is an issue. If there's one issue with this game, it's... well, I mean, there's multiple issues in terms of like little things. But one of the things that I think for me personally was the pop-in on performance mode. So you probably can notice it even in my video that there is at times just a ton of pop-in, and it just looks like there's, you know, something going on all the time, and that can be a little bit distracting at times. It was something that affects you pretty much whenever, and I'm not sure if that's something that they'll be able to fix or if that's just something you have to deal with. But if you do switch it to the 30 frames per second mode, I believe it's less evident and less prevalent, but there's also the drop off of frames per second. So, you know, for me personally, playing a racing game going back to 30 frames, I think would be a little bit something I wouldn't enjoy. Overall, the content here is much more massive than any other Forza Horizon game. The map is huge. There's different areas to explore, and you unlock different like festival sites, which I thought was phenomenal. If I had to maybe pick a little something, I would wish that you could have carried over your money from Forza Horizon 4, and I wish you could possibly have carried over some of your liveries, because, you know, if you had some really good cars and some really good designs, I would have loved to carry that over, but you can't do that here. But everything else about this game is just phenomenal. One of the best racing games that I've ever played. I think that it's really easy to kind of get into where the story comes from. It's, if you've enjoyed this franchise, then you're going to continue to enjoy it, because it's almost like I would consider it possibly an MMO of car games, of racing games, right? There's something for everybody, and I think that's such a great appeal to this game in general. While we've seen so many people on it, even in the early access, I think that it makes a lot of sense, because this game is just a lot of fun. You know, you can, you know, listen to the radio while you're racing around. You can even listen to the Spotify app in the background. That's what I've been doing. Listen to my own music in the background while I'm racing. There's always different types of races to do. There's going to be, you know, the you can do the street races, you can do, you know, the cross country races. All of that stuff is here, and the festival and everything is bigger than ever. The map is bigger than ever. They throw cars at you basically, so you can get cars pretty easily. I also feel like they've added a lot of cool things in terms of what you can do, in terms of like you can ride into a storm, a dust storm, and take pictures and things like that. So there's a little bit of a story there as well. I still would have liked to seen the progression been a little bit more like Forza Horizon 1, but it's still a fantastic game nonetheless. And just what they've been able to accomplish with sort of 3 years under their belt, I feel is nothing short of miraculous. And this is why Playground Games is such a brilliant developer with what they do. Anybody can go back and look on my channel. I reviewed, I believe, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 2. I even reviewed some of the DLC, and I just think that this is probably, obviously, the best racing series I've ever played. And even with where I'm at now, you have to understand that previously, if I reviewed something, maybe in the back of my mind, not intentionally, but sort of get that little Microsoft Homer review, you know what I mean, where I would sit there and I would review a game, and it wouldn't necessarily, I would look past some of the flaws and things like that. So I think I reviewed Forza Horizon 4 at maybe a perfect 10 or a 9.5, I don't remember which, and I actually think this game is better, but it's not going to get a perfect 10 because of the flaws. So I think there were flaws in Forza Horizon 4 as well, but the flaws that I see here do hamper it a little bit in terms of like I said before, popping and some of the weird glitches. I ran into a glitch personally multiple times where I'm driving, you know, I'm driving 150, 250 miles an hour, 220 miles an hour, and the car just stops. And it seems like it skips or whatever. So there are some issues to be found. But overall, I think very little that impacts the game itself. So when you're playing Forza Horizon 5, one of the things is it's just such a, it's almost too much to do, and I feel like that's not a bad thing. That's definitely a good thing. If you're looking for a game with a ton of content, I feel like look no further than this, because obviously this is something that you know, makes a lot of sense in terms of what fans look to expect from a Forza game, from a Forza Horizon game. And the 3-year break obviously did it well, because you know, you don't have something to look forward to every year. So when that third year comes out, you get all the more excited for it. And I think that Microsoft has done a good job with that, and Turn 10 has done a good job with that. And it's a good sign of things to come. I mean, you could pick this game up in Game Pass, I think, tomorrow. Or if you wanted to play it early, you can pay for the early access, which also gives you the upcoming expansions that'll come out as well. Which, you know, if you're looking for a game that's going to keep you busy for probably an entire year or longer, this would be the game to do that to, because there's always going to be something to do. They're always updating, there's always challenging, there's community challenges, there's accolades now, there's different things that you can do to just enjoy your time. You can just drive around and free roam. I think that this is a huge step in the right direction. I'm sure they're going to change up some of the aspects of the game and the franchise in a future. But yeah, it's definitely something that I would recommend. If you were wondering, I mean, I don't want to be snarky or make it seem like anything, but personally, if you were somebody who, like me, was counting down the days between exclusive AAA exclusives from Microsoft, and you suffered through 790 days like most of us, this is one you want to pick up. This is a true AAA. It's a megaton masterpiece. They did a fantastic job with this. I absolutely recommend it. Even if you're not a huge car fan, this game is almost like an adventure unto itself. So much to do, so much fun. I absolutely loved it. I feel like it's a fantastic game. It's the best game in Xbox from their first party in literal years. It deserves all the accolades, all the praise that it's getting, minus a few minor issues. I think that people will really come to love this game, and this game's going to have a long shelf life. Don't be surprised to see this game continue to sell well throughout the years. I understand that, you know, a lot of times when things are in Game Pass, it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll sell well, but this is a huge huge game, and there's a lot of content to be found here, and it's just so much tighter. The menus are tighter. Everything is just much tighter and much more put together than the previous game, and I think that you guys will all enjoy it. So if you're looking for a way to kind of just have an escapism moment, this is going to be the game for you. I'm giving Forza Horizon 5 a 9.5 out of 10. It is a brilliant game. Yes, I believe it scored a 0.5 lower than the last one I reviewed, but in that particular point in time, I think I personally was in a different place, and I'm proud of the person that I've become in terms of being able to look at things not through tinted glasses, but just in a more realistic manner. Almost a perfect game, but the few issues do prevent it from becoming that. Still, probably one of the, if not the best racing game I've ever played. Give it a try. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.
Turns out, the same people as always, dropping the facts. It's not cross-gen.